Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to talk about hacking. And you guys, I haven't had a hacking story like this get as weird as it's gotten for a long time. You may have noticed I haven't put out a video for a few days because initially I kind of saw this on Reddit, the issue with the number one person in raid. And I was like, oh, okay, it's just like standard, they'll probably get banned or something. But the more I found out about this, the more that I learned about the people involved, longtime viewers of mine that were getting accused for no reason, the more I got interested in this. And you guys, this is a fucked up story. And I'm just going to tell you kind of my journey through it and why there is a lot of effed up shit going on right now. And it feels very reminiscent of Cetra. I don't have all the details. I have most of them. I feel like I know everything that's going on right now. And y'all, it is weird. So let's go ahead and dig in. So most of you probably saw the post on Reddit if you're watching this video. It was done by Zin, who is from the Hydra Guild. He's currently the #1 ranking guild member. And he had identified that the previous #1 guild raider, he was taking screenshots and timestamps of this person. He had identified that this person had achieved 74k score in 34 minutes or something like that. And for him and for some of the other community members, they thought this was an impossible score. And personally, I find this evidence to be a little lackluster. I don't, considering that I can run a special raid and get 8,700 on a score, all it takes is someone to have incredibly good RNG to do that, and then you could be falsely accusing someone. So when I initially read this, I was skeptical that the person was hacking. The score difference wasn't that high. Maybe if he had hit 74k multiple times, I would be more suspicious of it. The fact that we have, multi-raid discords and you can kind of plan running special raids together, I kind of let it go. And I didn't really follow up on it. I was just like, oh, this is weird. I think this is, just people being upset that they're not in the #1 spot. Well, Zin was pretty forthright that this person was hacking. And, I kind of agreed to disagree with Zin. We had a conversation on Reddit. It wasn't very much, but in the messages that he sent me, he had corresponded with the guild leaders, Dory and Raymond. Now, I really wasn't invested in this until I saw those messages. And the reason I became invested is I know Dory and Raymond for a very long time. I've known Dory and Raymond for at least 2 years. They've been around since the very beginning of the game, and it seemed like, there was something else going on. I knew if they were involved, there has to be something else going on here, because they were the guild that this person was in. I reached out to Dory. I didn't reach out to Raymond because Raymond, because of all this, he really, the way people have been treating him, which we'll get into, he really has just wanted to leave the game and candidly quit leadership and just leave War Divisions completely. So, and as we get into this story, we'll talk about why that is. But I reached out to them and I was like, hey, what's going on? I received some DMs that you guys were in. It seems like you guys had the guy who was hacking or accused of hacking in your guild. And we talked about it for a while. And Dory was the person that I was kind of working with, because Dory and I have had a more recent relationship, so we could talk about it pretty candidly. And Dory was telling me about how they had been contacted by Zin and also by a person by the name of Salt. And while I know most of the higher level players and community members in the community, I never really knew who this person Salt was. And so I kind of kept that in my mind because I do work with a lot of guild leaders quite frequently. And it was just, keeping it in my mind. Zin had also sent me DMs from another guy named Salt as well. And so I was really like, oh, this is interesting. This person has messaged both of them, proof, quote unquote, that this person in the guild was hacking. And as I talked to Dory more, we found out that the person who was accused and allegedly of hacking, who I later found out was hacking, had left the guild, and people were continuing to berate and batter both Dory and, of course, Raymond, saying that they're a guild that supports hackers because, they were investigating, and over the course of their investigation, it took a couple days, and most people would just be like, we're gonna just kick this person right away because they're accused of hacking, which no reasonable guild would do. Like, what? Like, of course you're going to investigate. So, there was a lot of like slander and talk about them. And honestly, I've had hackers in my guild, and it's taken me over a week to investigate them. There have been times, even when I was a newer player, where I couldn't identify a hacker in my guild until Gumi banned them. Like, you can't expect everybody to know how to identify a hacker and how to remove them from your guild immediately, right? Part of the problem was this was a new member to the guild. They came recommended by another player. So they were trying to find kind of the background and the information of what exactly was going on. They had this person named Salt messaging them. Salt was doing a very similar strategy that Cetra used to do, which was DM people and say, hey, this person is hacking, go to this Discord and you can see them posting there, right? Where of course they link you to Shalzeth's Discord, which is the hacking Discord, for those that don't know. Long story short, I kind of got involved in this. I kind of got curious. Initially, I thought the individual might have been innocent or that there might have been something going on. So I investigated a little bit further. I found out that, in order to figure out what's going on, I would probably need to find the Salt person. I reached out to Visipur. I reached out to other top guilds, because this person alone is kind of the person who's reaching out and kind of initiating these conversations about this person being a hacker. And come to find out, I couldn't find this person anywhere. Nobody in the upper level guilds knew who he was. And I only knew one place to get a hold of him, and that was in the hacking Discord. So I went down a rabbit hole, guys. I actually went to the hacking Discord, and I went in there and I was like, hey guys, I'm looking for this guy. Messaged him, never got a response back from him. Although I did get to message Shalzeth himself, and I said, while I disagree with what you do, thank you for the data mining tools. Just quite like we had a very cordial conversation. This was a whole very weird experience for me. But come to find out, Salt is one of the people who is in charge of the, I would say he's in charge. When you're looking through the hacking Discord history, he's one of the people who actually kind of helps maintain and kind of teach people how to use the hacking tool. And it turns out this whole story seems to have something to do with the hacking community itself having a problem with somebody stupidly hacking. This whole situation where, we have Zin posting things on Reddit. We have him getting DMs from Salt. We have guild leaders getting DMs from Salt, right? Like, all of this could have been avoided if from the very beginning, people had just said, hey, we're from the hacking Discord. We know this guy is hacking and we don't like what he's doing. Like, this could have all been avoided. Like, it's very interesting to me that the community as a whole was kind of put on this rabbit hunt and this rabbit chase of like, oh, he got 74K, like trying to figure out like that he was hacking, when literally it's the hacking community itself who has reached out because this guy is using their hacks in a very stupid way. He's very public about it. He's very, nonchalant about it. He is using his actual Discord username in the hacking Discord, right? Like, all of these things that are very easy, like, to get caught, he's doing, and they didn't like that. And it's so interesting to me that at the end of this, you have poor Lost Phoenix, who is this guild that is, full of sweethearts like Dory and Raymond, who literally their new guild member turns out to be a hacker who came recommended by another guild community. Like, it's just so bonkers to me. It's bonkers that now people are saying, Lost Phoenix is this terrible guild and that they're a hacking supporter guild. They literally were doing their due diligence investigating this guy. Like, yeah, he's a hacker. Yeah, any guild leader would take time to investigate. They wouldn't. Like, it's just so mind-boggling to me that now people are like, oh yeah, Lost Phoenix, terrible guild. Like, they're not a terrible guild. You're fucking stupid. Like, oh, it's so, sorry. That it set me off when, you know, I hear that like Raymond is thinking about quitting the game. He's quitting leadership, because all of the people and some of these guild leaders that are messaging them are, you know, fucking just railing on them as being hacking supporters, when really they have no idea what the fuck is going on. Like, literally, this whole hacking situation, you know, it might have been started by Zin posting on Reddit, but it was fueled by one person trying to, one hacker trying to expose another hacker and kind of get them like removed from the public eye. It is the weirdest story I've ever heard. It's just so, I don't know. It's interesting. I wanted to share it with you guys because I feel bad. I feel bad that people in Lost Phoenix are being targeted when really they're a fantastic guild. They've been around since the beginning of the game, and it's just ridiculous the way people are behaving. It's very similar to Cetra, where Cetra would be like, if you're not taking action within, you know, this amount of time on a hacker, or if we say this person's a hacker and you don't remove them, you're a hacking supporter. Like, it's very reminiscent of how Cetra behaved, and it's really something we don't need in our community. And while yes, you know, it is unfortunate that in this situation this individual was hacking, and it is absolutely reprehensible that they were doing so, and they should be removed from the game and leaderboards and all that. We shouldn't be trying to like take down the entire guild because of one person. They did their due diligence. He wasn't in the guild any longer. They were in the process of investigating him. It took my guild weeks to investigate someone before we removed them for hacking. We're not just gonna listen to someone random ass outside of our guild saying, hey, this person's a hacker. That's not how things work. But anyway, I just wanted to do my part in kind of defending their community. I wanted to talk about this weird ass journey that I've been on over the course of the last like 24, 48 hours. It's been interesting. Anyway, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think below, and I'll catch you guys next time.